This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Minneapolis Church celebrates the 52nd anniversary of the first legal gay wedding. The beginning of the month marked the 52nd anniversary of the first known same-sex marriage in the country, performed in Minneapolis. Michael and Jack McConnell got married on September the 3rd, 1971. They were honored on their anniversary at the church that sponsored their wedding, Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church. On hand Sunday was Reverend Roger Lynn, the same man who married them. Michael and Jack, now both 81 years old, were initially turned down for a marriage license in Hennepin County. McConnell ended up legally switching to a non-gender specific name. They were approved for a license in another county, unbeknown as to whom the marriage license was being issued. Lynn married Michael and Jack in an old Victorian home near Franklin and Portland Avenues. Jack and Michael spent nearly 50 years fighting in court to get their license officially filed, and they finally succeeded in 2017. Michael said the two have lived by the guiding principles of equality and love ever since. Talking to one news source, Michael expressed happiness, saying, "To be in a place like this, and especially with the man who married us, is truly magical." Jack said, "I was happy to be recognized by the church that sponsored the first legally recognized same-sex marriage ever," end quote. Well, that's exciting. I mean, the Midwest, you know, that's exciting. That's where that occurred. Of course, in an urban area, Minneapolis is a great city, but it's a shame that they had to wait decades. Then they pulled it off at the county level, and nobody would pay attention for years and years. But then it finally was, because of marriage equality in 2015, 2016, nationwide.
When did you guys get married?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got married that year. So anyway, that was they couldn't deny it then after that, obviously.
Right.
So that was very exciting. But it wasn't that. It may have been the first county recognized marriage, but it wasn't the first marriage ceremony. In 1968, October the 6th, 1968, Metropolitan Community Churches was formed. The Reverend Elder Troy Perry, an ex-Pentecostal minister, a gay man, had a worship service in his living room. 12 people gathered. They had an offering of just over $3. They had a woman and 11 men. They had a Jew and 11 Christians. It was an interesting mix. This ex-Pentecostal minister wore Roman Catholic vestments. The music was led by an ex-Seventh-day Adventist, and they played an album of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. I love that the Mormons were part of the first Metropolitan Community Church service, and it was a service, and they were one straight and 11 gay people. So it was a small and diverse group, but that grew into a movement. The Metropolitan Community Church is still alive today, not the powerhouse they were a decade or two ago, but still around all over the world. We're historically affiliated with them and other progressive entities. But they were formed in 1968 and started doing what they called holy unions in 1969, which were just marriages.
Yeah.
And because they weren't legal, they also had what they called dissolution papers or forms. So you could just like you entered into a covenant, you could then end that covenant like a divorce. And it was all within the church because it wasn't legal elsewhere. So there were weddings, but they weren't recognized by the counties or whatever. Although I think pretty early on, MCC started working for that and fighting for that and suing for that also. But good for Hennepin County, a progressive county to this day. They've got a lot of stuff going on. They're a model to follow, really. But just a reminder that even before this county action happened in 1971, there was some pretty subversive stuff going on the religious front, and we were all part of that.
Right. And I think it's really important. I love this story, and I think it's really important to be mindful of it now, because sometimes things can be chipped away at. These are things that we want to pay attention to. This has been going on for a very long time. We love it. We love these stories. And pay attention.
Yeah, and I love the chance to tell our founding narrative.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Troy's still alive. Troy's still with us. Troy's going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was 4 years old when they got married, and I thought when it hit me, it's like, wow, we've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Since I was born and since they got married and in the history of MCC. So, and I like Ann's comment, like we cannot take for granted.
Yeah.
what we have worked so hard for. And, there are those who work and take it, and we must remain diligent because they are a wonderful example, as well as others, is that love wins.
Love always wins. Yep.
My husband and I have been together for almost 36 years, and we have had a number of ceremonies. Our first one was in 1992. And it was called a marriage ceremony. The pastor was in the closet pastor, but he would do marriages for gay and lesbian couples. Then fast forward to the early 2000s, and holy unions were recognized by the state of New Jersey, the state that we were living in. So we went down to the county clerk's office and we filled out the paperwork in a hallway. Just in a hallway, and the clerk was like, well, now you guys have some legal status. Never mind that we had to go to a lawyer to make sure that if one of us died, we would get the house without fighting the whole world. Then something else came up in New Jersey, and we both said, you know what? We're together. We're going to stay together. And when marriage becomes legal, we'll get married according to the state, which is what we did as soon as New York State legalized marriage. So we've been together for almost 36 years.
The borough president did that one, didn't she?
We did it at the clerk's office, but then we went to the borough president's office to have the pictures taken with the borough president. So it was really nice. It was really a lot of fun. They're almost 36 years together, a number of ceremonies, and we're still together, and whatever the world says, they can kiss my toes, metaphorically.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. In 2024, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure you go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rios, and you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine.